hit 6 figures in my first coaching business. But then I checked my bank account and it didn't make sense. Where was it all going? I thought I was doing everything right. I'd hired a designer, invested in my brand, did everything by the book, or so I thought. The numbers told a different story. That's when I found Profit First. And thank God I did. This book flipped everything. So in this video, I'm sharing my top 3 takeaways that changed how I run my business and can help you build one that actually pays you. Not just in revenue, but in freedom that actually shows up in your bank account. At the start of my business, I made a huge mistake. I kept telling myself, just keep going. One day you're gonna make so much money, the profit will take care of itself. Somehow that someday never came. And I'm not the only one. 1 in 5 entrepreneurs has nothing saved for retirement. A ton of them are making at least 6 figures and yet still living paycheck to paycheck. Here's what finally clicked for me. Your business isn't just here to make money. It's also here to pay you. And that starts now, even if you're literally just starting your business and haven't even made a single dollar yet. That's why this first takeaway from Profit First hit me so hard. Profit isn't an event or a result. Get this, it's a habit. But here's the thing about habits. They take time. Some people can form a new habit in 3 weeks. Others need 8 months. That's why this matters, especially when you're just getting started. And if you're thinking, but I don't have anything to pay myself with yet, that's where we all start. Building a real business means building this habit from day one, and it doesn't have to be complicated. If someone pays you $1,000, move $10 into a profit account. In the beginning, don't sweat a specific amount. It's the rewiring that matters. You stop waiting for that someday success, and you start seeing yourself as someone who deserves to be paid now. High five to that. But this isn't about getting rich overnight. It's about treating yourself like your first hire, because that's what you are. And just like you wouldn't hire someone and then forget to pay them, don't build a business and forget to pay you. That's the first takeaway. Know your end game and bake it in from day one. But even after I started paying myself, I still felt stuck. It was like pouring water into a bucket with a hole in the bottom. That's when it hit me. It's about what you don't waste, which brings us to takeaway number 2. As my very thrifty husband would say, ball on a budget, baby. Now, I'm not saying to hoard every dollar. This is not about scarcity or poverty mindset. I like to think about it like this. Feed the parts of your business that grow it. Feed those parts Wagyu and champagne. Cut off the parts that don't. I mean cutting anything, expenses, energy, time, that doesn't serve your ultimate goal, making a profit. And if the word cutting makes you feel deprived, like it did for me at first, I want to share this line from Profit First. Eliminating unnecessary expenses will bring more health to your business than you can ever imagine. Can you imagine that in your life? I want that, and I'm guessing that you do too, because one of the biggest traps for new entrepreneurs is building for the business that they hope to have someday instead of the one that they can actually afford right now. Especially when the online world is yelling, spend big, hire the big team, scale or fail. But here's what no one tells you. You can spend all of it easily. There is always something else to buy. That's why I kept things lean for a lot longer than I had to. I even edited all of my own YouTube videos for years. People would scoff. You don't really have a 7-figure business. Where's your fancy studio or your snazzy editing? Honestly, I didn't care what it looked like. I cared about what it made. Even now, running a 7-figure business, I still think like a scrappy entrepreneur. Don't get me wrong. I invest where it matters, but I'm not walking around like, oh my gosh, I'm so rich. Let's just throw cash at everything. Because that's how you go broke, no matter how much you have. And actually, let me share a story that proves this point perfectly. My YouTube producer, Abby, was at Vid Summit a few years ago in LA. She had to park in this super overpriced lot, like $30 a day. And guess who pulled in right behind her? Graham Stephan, a well-known millionaire YouTuber. You'd think someone with his bank account wouldn't care about $30 parking, right? But later that day, he got on stage and the first thing he said, why is the parking here so damn expensive? Because real ballers don't throw money away. We're intentional. And when it's smart to, we ball on a budget by choice. Bottom line, pun intended, just because your business makes $1 million doesn't mean that you do. There are expenses to be paid, overhead, taxes, especially if you live in New York City like me. Don't treat your business income like your personal piggy bank. The goal, at least around here, isn't to seem rich. It's to be rich. But you might hear all this and think, wasn't the whole point of starting a business to have more freedom? This sounds like the opposite, but stay with me because this is where it actually gets fun. The point of Profit First isn't to turn you into the spreadsheet obsessed, hyper-disciplined robot. In fact, I want to be really clear. By no stretch of the imagination would anybody who knows me describe me as frugal. The difference lies in building a business to support the life that you want. Bringing us to our third takeaway. Grow in a way that's sustainable. So your business supports you, not the other way around. Honestly, I totally missed this at first. And I've always considered my work ethic one of my top strengths. So I went all in. I worked 12-hour days, skipped weekends, thought hustle was the answer to everything. I genuinely believed that the goal was to scale as fast as humanly possible because that's what the online world tells you, right? More, bigger, faster. And then I hit a wall. I remember one night staring at my laptop, so exhausted and thinking, what is the point of making all this money if I am so miserable doing it? That was my light bulb moment. It forced me to rework the entire way that I ran my business. I shifted away from paid ads and leaned into SEO. Not as flashy or as fast, but once it kicked in, the profit margin and the lifestyle were way better because I wasn't just relying on throwing money at everything I wanted anymore. And the best part, I started having fun again. I was building my business and living my life the way that I wanted. But I never would have found that path if I hadn't slowed down and asked myself, what would it look like to build something that puts profit and enjoyment first? You never know what amazing opportunities are waiting once you give yourself the space to look for something better first. So if you're sitting there thinking, I want to build a business like that, but I have no idea where to start, I made something for you. It's a free on-demand class where I walk you through the exact system I used to build my first online business from scratch while working a full-time job, not having a lot of time, and not even having an idea of where to start. Inside the training, I'm going to show you the 3 biggest mistakes that keep new coaches stuck. How I went from no traction for over 2 years to $106,000 in just 4 months. And the step-by-step framework to making real, consistent income without burning out. If you're ready to build your dream business that frees you from the 9-to-5 and gives you a life that you actually enjoy, go to the link in the description or head straight to luisazhou.com/masterclass to grab your free spot.